CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop. CHICKEN. Use the code
Guys, the chicken is here. We're back today with another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, a little bit different. As you can see, we have Mr. Nuno Sousa up on the call today. So we're going to be doing a little interview with Nuno. We're going to talk about Boom Beach, kind of the state of the game, and some of your guys' questions, pressing questions about warships and everything like that. So, yeah, Nuno, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone, and let's get going.
Okay, cool. So, first off, I guess what we can start with is, what is kind of your role at Supercell for the people that don't know what a community manager is, and like how did you get into that job?
Well, I got as an application that was open when I was at the Portuguese support team for all the Supercell games.
Okay.
I applied, and then I was fortunate enough to get in.
Interesting. So you're from Portugal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, I have no idea where that is, but it sounds like it's far away.
Yeah. Most people.
Far from Finland, I guess, eh?
I mean, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's up north from
Cool.
from the Portugal side. Yeah.
So, what's it like? What's it like working with Supercell right now, especially with COVID and all the craziness? Have you been able to go in there at all, or are you just working remotely right now?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working home. It doesn't really bother me that much because I really like being at home. So being able to work remotely wasn't so impactful for me. Although I have to admit there were some really hard times, but I couldn't get enough sleep because I saw my room as my workspace and all the stress was there,
Yeah,
So it really,
that's tough when it's
it really was not the same as before. And yeah, some days can get really rough, but overall, I mean, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So how, why Boom Beach specifically? Did you play the game for a while before that, and that's why you wanted to apply, or how did that come to be?
Yeah, definitely. I started playing in 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Then I stopped
OG,
for a
then.
while. Yeah, a real OG. I used to watch a lot of Boom Tubers back then, especially Nick at Night.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I managed to get into this wonderful position that I'm in right now.
Awesome. Well, that's good. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes. So, the state of Boom Beach currently, obviously, Warships, that whole update really changed the landscape of the game. From what we were, from just the main base. Now it seems like a lot of the updates, a lot of the game changes are kind of focused around warships. Is that going to continue to be the focus, or are we going to see new things come to the main base as well? Or where do you kind of see the state of the game where it is now, and where we can kind of think it's going to go in the future?
I mean, I definitely understand that a lot of people don't play warships, and a lot of people do. So, I mean, of course, there will still be updates on the main base. Yes, we are working on a new HQ.
Okay, confirmed.
There is a lot of information that I cannot share, but want to make clear that because we don't update as regular as people want, it doesn't mean that we don't do it at all. We do work on the game, but it takes time for things to come by. I mean, I remember when we launched HQ24 that there were a lot of players requesting a new HQ a month after the previous one was released. Right. I mean, I don't think an update would feel unique if we release the new version of the game every month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of becomes stale after that point, right? We kind of see that now with Mega Crab, where it's, everyone always wanted a new Mega Crab when it was quarterly, but now that it's monthly, it's, they're still hype. The crab's still great, but it definitely kind of dies off a little bit if it's really consistently kind of the same thing. So that's good news. Has there ever been any thought, we look at the rest of the Supercell games, they're all, a lot of them have this kind of pass like season model now, and obviously we have seasons with warships. But has any sort of like battle or gold or boom pass ever been considered for Boom Beach?
Yeah, it definitely has been talked about. This was actually one of my main questions when I joined the team.
Okay. Cool.
But unfortunately, there are no plans on adding a pass to Boom Beach as of right now. There were a lot of ideas thrown out, but it wasn't.
Right.
It isn't feasible at the moment.
Right. How do you think that would look like? Like, obviously not like you know, like I know it's not in development or anything like that, but just like from your perspective, how do you think that would look like?
I don't know, really. I mean, there was a lot of ideas that I saw. A lot of daily quests, like playing with certain troops, or I don't know, like pushing players to play certain things, and maybe change their gameplay a little bit. That would keep them interested in the game while also completing the boom pass.
Right. Yeah, because you kind of like they kind of took that direction with the Prototroops, with making the daily event the way that you level up the Prototroops, and then I don't even know how that works anymore, to be honest. It's kind of like you collect your proto tokens, but if you're maxed out, like your Prototroops are already maxed out, so it doesn't really you don't really need to do that now. But like I like that idea of, you know, incorporating the daily events to, you know, especially for the max level players, the people that aren't just doing stuff for the resources, just to get something else out of it. I always thought that you know, since the launch of Warships, it would be really cool to have some sort of crossover between the main base and the Warships base. Whether that's, you know, you could do it a million different ways, but like, is that something that's ever been talked about? Do you know of?
No, not really. You mean like cross-playing?
Well, just some kind of crossover. It's like you, for example, like you complete the daily events, you get some sort of bonus in Warships rather than it being two completely separate islands. You know what I mean?
No. They're just separate gameplay.
Okay.
So,
all right. So let's get more into these questions here. So, will there be any new troops coming to Warships in the future?
There are still some Prototroops to be launched. Yeah. If we feel that they are fit and balanced for Warships, then they should definitely be included on Warships. We have a season called Prototroops for a reason, so we might expect them on those.
Okay, so like totally new troops that we haven't seen in the game before?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, cool. Why are the Warship seasons so far apart from each other when one ends? Like, obviously it's nice to have that little break in between, but it's also kind of strange that it's like there's no Warships for like 7 days at a time or whatever it is.
Yeah. When Warships first started, I mean, I wasn't in this position, but I know that we got a lot of feedback from the community that they had to play so intensively and couldn't keep up with the events. So from now on, we want to make sure that the players get a good rest before starting a new and intense season. And we know that a lot of players can get tired of playing so intensively. Right. We also have the mega crab factor. We want to make sure that players enjoy these events fully, not only for those that like to reach the top of the leaderboard, but also for a casual player trying to reach their goals on the event.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes sense. But it also feels like, I don't know if crab needs to be moved up, like maybe earlier in that week, but also crab's got to be on the weekend. It just seems like it's a lot, because it's like we go from crab, like you grind that out straight until, and then like the season starts, and then you got to start grinding like crazy for the next season that's coming up. So it's kind of like, I understand what you're saying. It's got that break in there, but it's also like everything's kind of crammed in towards the end of that week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, like mega crab on weekends is, I think it's best for most people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can't have crab launch on like a Monday afternoon. That's no good.
Yeah, it's quite, I would say it's quite awkward to have it those timings, especially if you already have Warships starting on a Monday.
Yeah,
most of the time. So
yeah, so speaking of Warships starting, any luck, any chance that we're gonna get a non like 3 a.m. start for us Eastern time zone guys?
No, we want to keep. I mean, Yeah, I brought this to the team, and since we work with Helsinki time, we have to keep this schedule.
Right. I think that's what everyone
So
kind of figured, or maybe you said that somewhere at some point that the team's got to be in the office when
yeah,
Warships
exactly,
is starting.
exactly, yeah.
You got to
So
work within
if
that time frame.
yeah, we had a season which there was a player that had the fortunate, the most intense moment that we had was when a player had everything almost maxed out in Warships when he started.
Yeah,
So we had to
season
reset
6,
it.
right?
I think it was season
it was
6.
like there was a
long
bug or
time ago.
something, and it was like everyone
Yeah.
started with maxed out everything or something like that. It's like
Yeah,
legendary
and-
X within a few hours.
And imagine if we couldn't be able.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
You're pretty
like
quick to-
we wouldn't be able to change things if we were not at the office. So
Right.
like
Right.
9 a.m. it's ideal for everyone,
Yeah.
at
yeah.
least from that perspective.
There's only so much you can do, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nuno, we wanted to ask you this: will there ever be a base edit mode like in Clash of Clans and Warships? Like right now, it's you have to change your base so frequently, and it's okay at like 3, 4, and 5 engines, but when you get to like 6 and 7 it really becomes a chore if you got to change your base frequently. So is there anything like in that aspect that would be coming?
I get this question a lot, yeah, but unfortunately, no, it is not in the plans, and I can't tell you if there will ever be a system like that or not in Boom Beach.
Well,
It is what it is. I really wish there was, and I'm pushing the team to do it. But I mean,
okay.
again,
we'll keep pushing at least, right?
yeah.
So, do you have any new ideas for Warships in terms of the tech tree? Like, basically, each new season starts out, and for the most part, unless there's like a prototroop being thrown in there, or there's like a specific theme to the season, it's mostly the same tech tree that we see. Heavies at the start, that kind of thing. Things are kind of mixed up. Do you ever see new ideas for Warships, like, I don't know, putting an old tech tree or doing something crazy like putting Scorchers first, or not having mines in the season, like something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of brilliant ideas for warships coming from the community that I have already shared with the devs. Sometimes the hardest part is to realize what is doable and what isn't. The
Right.
example that you gave me, Scorchers with boom cannons, might seem good at first, but there are a lot of things to consider when doing a tech tree. We need to make sure the progress throughout the whole tech tree is achievable and interesting. How is it going to be for non-IT players? Does the start of the tech tree influence the number of chests that you are able to collect in the beginning, etc.? I mean, there is a lot of balancing in place. Like I said, it's not easy to plan a tech tree. There are a lot of things to consider and to test. But yeah, we do test a lot, and we search a lot of community
Okay.
community
Okay.
ideas.
So you
Yeah.
change it up as much as you can within the framework of having it work well for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's ideal. We don't want players to be stuck at 2 engine rooms because they can't get any more chests.
Right, because they have only Cryoneers to attack with, for example.
I mean, let's not talk about it. I mean,
cool,
yeah.
fair enough. Okay, so we've got a couple things here. We've got a new HQ that's coming. We've got new troops that are coming to Warships, which is pretty exciting.
Prototroops, yeah. If we
Prototroops.
ever,
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
still
I
new
mean,
prototroops
that-
that we haven't seen before, right?
yeah.
Okay, that's just as good. Now, I'm gonna push you a little bit here on this one. Are there any plans for a new update? And if so, is there any timeline, or can you give us any details on what it might contain? Obviously, you just spoke to the HQ and the new prototroops, but anything new, offensive, defensive, building units, gunboat energy, anything else that we can kind of?
Um, I mean, of course, the HQ will come up with a few new levels for buildings
Right.
and armory troops and gunboat abilities, but there is no new offensive or defensive buildings, at least planned for now.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with with some of those answers. So I hope that you guys out there are as well. Um, so what would you say? What would you say is the best and like the worst part of your job? Like, what do you like most about being the CM, and what's the worst part of it?
Mm. Um, I would say that the best part about my job is being able to understand the dev's point of view, their perspective on the game. There are a lot of stuff that was not conscious about, like at all, like the behind the scenes of an update.
Right.
Being in this position made me also realize and understand why some things are not viable or doable or not doable because of XYZ, even if those things might be one of the community main requests. Like,
Yeah, exactly, right. Like sometimes the player base or even us as, YouTubers, we get frustrated about certain things, and it's some things, like you said, just for whatever reason they're just impossible to come in. They might seem like a really simple idea or simple fix. It's like, oh my god, like why can't they just do this? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's definitely
yeah,
it's definitely like cool to see how that actually works, like behind the scenes and stuff.
yeah. For the worst part, there aren't really a lot of downsides. But what I would say that bothers me the most is when there are some things that cannot be introduced in game, or people are just waiting for an update and people just assume it's the community manager's fault. It's completely wrong. I mean, the
Yeah,
community
right. You're just
managers.
relaying the messages.
Yeah, the community managers are not developers. They don't make most of the decisions within the game. We are the voice for both the dev team whenever there are issues in game, for example, and the community.
Right.
And for some people, sometimes might be hard to understand what the community manager's position is all about.
Okay, guys, you heard him. Any complaints, any and all complaints, send them directly to Nuno. That's what he wants.
I mean, I don't mind all. I mean, it's my job, so.
Yeah. Where, like, if people want to reach out to you, where's the best place to find you? Like on Reddit, Twitter, Discord? What's your
Discord.
preferred platform?
Discord is the best platform right now. I'm active there daily.
Okay, cool. Like the
even on
Boom
weekends.
Beach Discord
Yeah,
from the Reddit page.
yeah. I read the Reddit too, the posts there, but I reply the most on Discord. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And you have a Twitter account too, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So what is that?
At NunuFT Souza.
At Nunu FT Sosa. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Now you know where to send your complaints. Nunu, man, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun, and I think people are really going to enjoy having their questions answered directly by you. And we got some new stuff to look forward to, too. So that was awesome.
Yeah. There might be news sooner than you expect, so follow our social media and stay tuned.
Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Thank you again, man. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. And we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.
Thank you. Bye-bye.